So welcome and thanks everybody. My name, as Alessandro said, is Giorgio Cifani, and I work for Microsoft. I cover multiple European countries, namely the Southern European and Alps countries. So I'm going to introduce you the Surface Hub that is here. It's a combination of hardware that you see in front of you and software. Software is in the cloud, so it's a combination, it's a mix of hardware and software solution that give back to you time. Time that you can use with your families and friends or focusing on other working activities. And now I'm going to explain you why we are giving you back time. So basically, this is the welcome screen that you have once you turn on the Surface Hub, and of course you can customize with the image that you want. And here you can already notice that the 84 inches model that is here is a 4K display, so an high resolution display with an high quality touch surface on it. We have another model which is the 55 inches model, and the resolution over there is Full HD. This is run out of an Intel i7, this other is running out of an Intel i5. Finished. Those are the only two differences between the two. Few other words on the technical specifications, and then I focus on the software experience. We have large speakers on both sides, cameras, high-resolution cameras, 1080p cameras, and there are two of them, and you will notice that are mounted at high level for a reason that later I'll explain. And then we have 4 microphones that are positioned on top of it. 4 because we are using some algorithms developed with our experience with the Kinect sensor that do some noise cancellation so that the audio captured from the room is very clean. On the software experience, as I said, this is the welcome screen, and here we have some important information in the shape of tiles. We have the date and time, and it's fairly easy to understand what does it mean, and 3 other tiles that let me remind what are the 3 major capabilities of the device. So the first one is about calling. The device is entirely based on Skype for Business, so the call with the remote participants are made thanks to Skype for Business. Then we have a whiteboard, which is the applications where the touchscreen excel and can be complemented by CollaBoard, and you'll see later all the details about CollaBoard. And then we have the capability to connect the devices that are in the same room of the Surface Hub with cables or without cables, thanks to Miracast, but in a bidirectional way, and I'm going to show that as well. The other tiles, which is very important, is this one, which is the meeting, the scheduled meetings. How I did that, how that meeting appeared over there. So from my PC, the Surface Pro 4 that is sitting over there, I scheduled a Skype for Business call starting from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, inviting the alias, the resource that is associated to the Surface Hub. The Surface Hub automatically replies a few seconds after saying if the meeting has been accepted or not. So it self-manages the calendar. So it is a bookable resource, a bookable shared resource that manages by itself the calendar. So let's go to start the meeting experience. Imagine that this has been positioned in a conference room. I enter the conference room with the meeting scheduled in advance, and starting the meeting is just a matter of pressing it, and everything is automatically started. So Skype for Business opened the call, and the cameras are turned on, and even the microphones are turned on, so that you can see here. So people that remotely join the meeting, and I'm going to simulate that here on my Surface Pro 4, and let's see if Windows Hello recognizes my face, so I authenticate over here with my face. I'm joining that specific meeting, and I have to be quick to mute the mic to avoid the Larson effect. Okay, done. People that remotely join the meeting is like they are opening the door and entering this meeting because they automatically see what's happening over here and they hear my voice in this case or the voice of the attendant. So with those easy steps. We cut out all the lost time at the beginning of the meetings where you have to exchange PIN codes, conference codes, and you have people asking if the meeting is started or not, and so on. This way, who is remotely joining have an instant feeling of being part of the same meeting room. And that is super, super important to give back time to you, as I said at the beginning, as a preamble. Then what you get over here is the Skype for Business interface, which is this strip appearing on the left, or that if you want, you can move on the right, as much is comfortable to you, or you can hide completely. And by default, the application that is opened in this case is the whiteboard, which is where I talk about the touch screen capability of the device. Two pens are distributed together with the device, and the pens are in communication with the device through radio frequency, but they are not Bluetooth pens. You don't need to pair to type a pin or anything like that. They are ready to work out of the box with any Surface Hub. I can use the pen that I'm using here over the other one, so they are instantly ready. And they have an internal battery that is automatically recharged when they are standing on the holder, because the two metal rings that you see here are the connector that give power to the rechargeable battery inside. So as I said, this model is a 4K, and we have on top of this display a grid that is very dense, as you can imagine, 4 kilometers of wires on top of it, and the sampling speed is 120 Hertz, meaning that a lot of points are captured in an amount of time. This means that you have a great performance. I mean, I challenge you to mention a competitor that is able to have this quality and this kind of performance. Usually, you know, with other systems, you have the inking, the electronic inking that is following the pen with a lag, or you are like flying at a distance from the display. Here, the quality of the display is like a capacitive screen on a tablet. But the technology to create this on a tablet is a domain by everybody. I mean, a lot of companies are able to do so. But on an 4 inches devices, there are very few companies. Actually, only Microsoft with the Surface Hub is able to give you those kind of performance. You probably noticed also that the pen is supporting multiple levels of pressure. Actually, the levels are 1024. So I can press more or less, giving you the feeling of a natural electronic inking. And then we moved this layer on top of the screen, giving back to you such a great experience. The back of the pen acts as an eraser, so it is possible to erase in a very, very natural way of doing. This is one of the experiences that I can show to you that are here in the same room as me, but that at a point, if I press this present screen button, I can share with colleagues connected from remote offices around the world. In fact, over here, I'm going to put it in full screen, and after a few seconds, we are going to get the display that is over there, here. So people that are connected remotely see exactly everything that is happening in the client area of the Surface Hub. So this means that every application that I'm going to launch, and we have some pre-installed and made by Microsoft, some others made by third parties like IBV, all the applications that I'm going to open over here are shared. So depending on also the quality of the connection, they get content with a delay or not, but you get the content. And when at the beginning I mentioned that we have 2 cameras at high level 8, is because at a point, a good presenter or everybody that is instructed to do so, move himself or herself in front of the, let me do this. Yep, okay, I wanted to show what the remote people get from the screen, I was saying that the presenter, from time to time, look for an eye contact with people that are remotely connected, giving them the feeling of being part of that, like you do on TV. You basically watch inside the camera. Two screens that are not layered one on the side of the other, but they are automatically switched, the one on the right or the one on the left, based on the position of the presenter. So you see a few seconds after I turn my face, it is recognized and moving to the other cameras, thanks to face recognition. Also, if you noticed, the camera over here is tilted toward the center by 30 degrees. This is something that gives to the remote viewers a feeling of the room, as you can see, plus the presenters always in the center of the scene. Because this means that when I'm going to do something on the screen, moving a slide, progressing through the slide, writing something, or do something on the application, people that are connected remotely see me, the presenter, that is going to do something on the shared screen. So I don't have to recall their attention saying I'm progressing through the slide or I'm writing something. They see with my body language that I'm doing something and their attention is automatically switched to the content of the presentation. So again, those small little design principles that helps to create an engaging experience for people connected remotely or present in the same room like you now. I was talking about PowerPoint. You got a glimpse of this during Alessandro's presentation. He was using PowerPoint, of course. And over here, you can progress with the very natural gestures. Plus, as you can imagine, you can use the pen on top of the presentation, adding your own content. We have some tools over here to change, I don't know, the color of the pen, or to add with an highlighter, something like that. When you close the presentation, PowerPoint asks you if you wanted to save the inks, the annotation that you put on top of the presentation, together with the file of the presentation, so the same PPT or PPTX file from where you open the presentation. This is great because after the meeting, you are going to distribute the presentation that will include also the annotations. It sort of acts like a visual reminder about what has been discussed, where the focus was. You can also add some action point for people that you expect after the presentation, and the people are reminded to do that. Another important one, I started using the device without authenticating myself, if you noticed. So I pressed on the meeting reservation, and then I was in the system. The system doesn't identify me as Giorgio Cifani, Microsoft employee. Everybody can jump in front of it and start using it. So you may ask, you may wonder, how is it possible to open documents like in a the PowerPoint application? Couple of possibilities. One, it's very traditional, I would say. It is possible using a USB memory stick to put in a side port over here, which is very handy. And I can open the presentation from a USB memory stick. That can be also encrypted with BitLocker, so typing your password, open the content. So we add a level of security to that. Otherwise, it is possible to sign in with your Office 365 account and get the content that you have over the cloud, which is super important when you, for example, open Word document from the cloud. I'm not going to do that from here now. And since this is Word 2016, it is possible to use the co-authoring capability, meaning that in the same document, there are two cursors with the initials of the authors behind any cursor, and together we can work on the same document, which is very handy and productive as well, because, again, the device is to help you save your time, optimize your time, and being more productive. The start screen shows me in the tile fashion or in a list the applications that are pre-installed or that I can install from the Windows Store or the Windows Store for Business. There are many companies that are working on that, like IBV. I want to show you something like a 3D viewer, because on an 84-inch device, navigating in a 3D object is something very, very appealing and natural. So it is possible to do that. get every kind of detail. And then you can highlight a single component. All the capabilities then are up to the applications, of course, that are possible to install on the device. Of course, after me, there will be a session specific about CollaBoard with all the details, as you can imagine. Then we have over here a browser, Microsoft Edge, that is super handy to browse the internet, but moreover to use applications, portals, where I can do every kind of interaction. Like, let me open just one website. And since this is Microsoft Edge, you know that even on your PC, you have this new capability to use the pen directly onto web pages. And of course, it's possible to do the same also here on the Surface Hub. Last pillars that I mentioned when I was on the welcome screen, the capability to connect the devices that are in this room. So again, let me move to my Surface Pro 4. Close the Surface, the Skype for Business call I'm in right now to avoid confusion. Let me press the Connect button, which is also a keyboard combination of Windows K. And then I get a list of devices where I can project the screen from my device. And here I can read Microsoft Surface Hub 84-inch. A new application called Connect is starting, and as you can see, my Surface Pro 4 is connecting wirelessly to the device. Here it is using Miracast technology to project, but on Surface Hub we add bidirectional capability. It means that I can use the applications or the OS that is projected from my PC directly from the Surface Hub. So it means that I can minimize this application, I can press the start screen, I can even use the wireless keyboard that is connected with the Surface Hub. So this wireless keyboard with the touchpad is connected wirelessly to the Surface Hub. If I type over here, I'm typing back on my Surface Pro 4. And I'm launching an application that everybody is familiar, which is Microsoft Paint, because inside Paint I want to show that even the pen is remoted back to the projecting application. With a bit of delay in this case, because we are connected wirelessly in a room that on the RF side of things is quite noisy, as you can imagine, so the lag is visible, but usually is much less. And if you want to remove completely the lag, you have the ability to connect it with two cables. One to project the video, and one simple USB cable back to the PC to send back the pen plus the touch screens. So you are really seeing my PC because there's a colleague from Spain that is contacting me on Skype for Business, just to give you a proof that is real and happening now. This way, the device is an appliance based on Windows 10. It is a special version of Windows 10 called Windows 10 Team. It runs UWP applications, so Universal Windows Platform app specifically developed for the Surface Hub, which is exactly what IBV did developing CollaBoard, but it's possible also to project applications from a PC. This way, vertical apps like I don't know, CAD, PLM app is possible to project from a remote PC and use directly from the hub, with the ability to share what is happening on my PC with people that are connected remotely. Because remember that when I press the present screen button over there, everything that is happening in this area, including what I'm projecting from my PC, is shared with people connected remotely, which is great. Add a level of versatility that is amazing. Last, I wanted to close with the I'm done button, which is a button that we have here, that for 10 seconds remind to save content that has been created on the whiteboard. And once this timeout has been expired, everything is canceled. Because remember, the device is designed for communal spaces like conference room or adult spaces where is there to be used by everybody. So there's no authentication, is not owned by nobody. It is free to be used by who is jumping in front of it, maybe booking it in advance with a Skype for Business meeting. But then when you leave the room, you want to leave the room with the comfort of having all your data, files that you downloaded or credentials that you typed, cancelled, removed completely. So the device is back to the original conditions and ready to be used by some other colleagues. So that was an introduction, short introductions about Surface Hub. I'll be around with my colleagues. There are three colleagues from Microsoft Switzerland here. So at the end, if you have any questions specific about Surface Hub, feel free to contact us and ask. We are here to help and support. Thank you.